Welcome to the fantasy draft room. I'm Chase. With me, as always, my man Cody. We got another underdog best ball draft in store tonight.
And for the first time, we are actually drafting out of the 6th slot. We've been pretty early, pretty lucky with most of these drafts that we've been sitting, in the 1, 2, or 3 slot, I think, for all of them so far, moving into this middle range where we don't have a turn that we can finally take advantage of or, get disadvantaged for, depending on how you want to look at it. But drafting right here out of the middle, out of the 6th slot, what experience do you have out of the 6th? How do you feel about the 6th slot?
It's okay. For the first round, you'll typically find yourself in that Travis Kelce range. So, I mean, you have the potential for a Kelce Mahomes stack is usually what I look at in this range. But I mean, if Cooper Kupp fell to me, I wouldn't be disappointed. I kind of feel like those are usually the two that I look at when I'm in the middle of the draft. Usually 7, 8. I actually don't know if I've had. Oh, there goes Cooper Kupp at 3. So
Not
much
that
for
one.
that plan. It's funny. There's been a lot of talk about Cooper Kupp actually being worth the number 1 overall pick, and there's some really good stats behind it. He actually has had double-digit points in every single game since I want to say 2021 that he's played in, and 80% of his starts have netted 20 plus points per game, which is just astronomical. And then 30% of those games are actually 30 points or more. So safe floor, high ceiling. Obviously, I think the big question marks for Cooper Kupp are that. Oh, come on, are that
I really
quarterback
wanted it.
position.
I wanted
I
it
did
too.
too.
All right, so in my opinion here, it's either Diggs or CMC.
Yeah, I don't think I have any other thoughts there. I think I got to go with the upside running back, and then I might just go hero RB.
Hero RB it, and then we draft like 4 running backs or 4 wide receivers in a row right here just to pair with.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the play here. So let's kind of look at where we're at. So we have the pick 19 and pick 30 are the next picks. Being in the middle of the draft is always a little bit different. And I feel like that's something that when you're on the turn, you can afford to reach a little bit, or you have the ability to kind of read the board and see what's going on. But when you're in the middle, you're kind of at the mercy of what's going on around you, and you have to stay a little bit fluid. So pick 19 is going to be in this Chris Olave, Devonta Smith range, in terms of looking at wide receivers. If we're going to go hero, we're going to have to look at this range of wide receiver. I don't think Waddle's going to fall.
Anybody in front of T Higgins, that's what I want. Any of the wide receivers that are in front of T, that is what I want to be able to fall to us here. Really, once you hit that, I don't think that people are really worth like that locked in first round value for me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, honestly, like I kind of need to formulate a backup plan if Chris Olave and Devonta Smith do come off the board, because if they do, it is T Higgins being the next, wide receiver up. And then, looking at pick 30, which is where we're at, would be, DK, Ridley, Debo. If we wanted to go that route, we could look at, everyone. Any reason to take like a shot on a Mahomes or a quarterback this early? I just feel like punting wide receiver too much just can be a big old mess.
The only thing, man, it would be so much easier if you got Kelce there at that 6, right? Like if you could just put Kelce there at that 6, it's an easy backup plan, and probably actually your plan A to get that Patrick Mahomes at that 2-7 slot if you were able to do that. But not having the stack does play a little bit of a detriment into it. But truthfully, rather than going into another RB, I'd probably just try to take the positional advantage and go with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, a quarterback that could get you quarterback 1 overall numbers in the league, and just go that route instead of going another running back or what I kind of consider to start to be the flat tier of wide receiver.
So with this pick here, we might have a shot at Olave and Smith. Chris Olave is going to be the wide receiver 1 on his own team. You have a better arm with Derek Carr. I don't have a lot of exposure to Chris Olave, so I kind of lean that pick, but I wanted to get your thoughts with Olave or Devonta Smith.
Better arm with Derek Carr is a little bit of a wild statement.
Than Andy Dalton? Like, come on.
Oh, okay. I thought you were comparing him to Devonta Smith's quarterback.
Oh,
but
no.
I'd probably lean into Devonta Smith here, honestly. Chris Olave could have a little bit of competition with Michael Thomas or Rashid Shaheed. Devonta Smith is in a hyper-targeted offense with only AJ Brown in front of him. If anything else were to happen in the offense, I would go with Devonta Smith just in case over Chris Olave. Even though I love the upside of Chris Olave, we've seen 2 years of this from Devonta Smith. We saw the progression from year 1 to year 2. Have not seen that fully yet with Chris Olave. He does have an entirely new quarterback and a new system and a new relationship to develop. Can he still be the same player that he was last year and take a 20% step forward? I think he can, but I just don't know if that's going to happen as well as I think what I project for Devonta Smith this year.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So we have pick 30, pick 43, 54 as well. Okay. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of where we're at. The thing with Smitty for me is I believed in him coming out. He showed a little bit of what he could do as a rookie, and I know everyone now is looking for Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like who's going to break out as a rookie and just have this monster season. And we forget that it used to take, and it still does take time to develop when you transition from whatever college to the NFL. And Devonta Smith is a very, very good player. I feel like, if anything happened to AJ Brown, Devonta Smith would have absolutely no problem stepping into that number 1 role. They can already target him, as a number 1 on the team if they needed to or wanted to. We are up in 4 picks here. This is coming quickly with being in the middle of the draft here. We got DK, Calvin Ridley, Debo, Amari Cooper in terms of wide receivers. We do still have Jalen Hurts on the board, so we could actually get a Smitty stack.
I think if the Smitty stack's there, I think you got to,
and
it's gone. South Park,
yes, that's South Park, and it's gone.
All right, now I'd be leaning into these top 3. It's Josh Jacobs, DK Metcalf, or the positional advantage to Mark Andrews for me. Those are really the only 3 options that I really have on the board.
Yeah, I keep looking at the bye week. Josh Jacobs is off the board. Okay, so Mark Andrews, DK. What are your thoughts here? Go Andrews.
I think I'm interested to see what an Andrews build would look like. I'd probably lean there over DK, to be honest. Just to get a tight end advantage build.
YOLO.
You've got an advantage with 3 of your 3 of the main positional groups here. You don't have it with quarterback yet, but quarterback in a 1 QB league, it's not really the worst thing to not have the positional advantage on. CMC, Smitty, and Mark Andrews. I mean, Mark Andrews could legitimately, with a Todd Monken offense, be up at that Travis Kelce level this year if all things click right for him. And so I would like to see what this team looks like if we lean into that over the first 3 rounds and then build out wide receiver from here, because I really think we were in that. DK Metcalf was the last one for me, but I'm not betting on a Calvin Ridley, Debo Samuel. Maybe it was right to lean into the DK Metcalf, but I also have some concerns about him and what his upside truly is in a probably at best 50-50 split offense in the run to pass game. And you have 3 competent wide receivers now that you would assume with JSN, Tyler Lockett, and DK. What is really the upside for him?
Yeah, in all honesty, like I was perfectly fine with that pick. I just didn't feel great about any of those wide receiver options. I don't feel like I wanted to take the risk on Calvin Ridley. There goes Amari Cooper. So we are up here in 3 picks. I didn't think Keenan Allen would be here, so I'm going to throw him.
And he's gone.
And he's gone. Oh gosh, that we need to get a sounder for that. But, so I am up in 2 picks here. The stack possibility with Andrews came off the board with Lamar. We're up in 2 picks, so we're really looking at Judy. I don't really want to have any interest in Drake London personally.
Judy or McLaurin here would be my 2 that I'm really highlighting.
My only downside to McLaurin, as much as I like him, is the fact that he's going to be, that week 14 bye. What about DJ Moore, Christian Kirk?
A little bit of different players for me. I think those 2 are pretty solidified as the ones in their offense. I don't think that Dotson takes that step up over Terry McLaurin. I'd honestly lean into the bounce back of this Denver offense and probably go Judy to avoid that week 14 bye. Get the week 9 bye that we don't have stacked with Devonta Smith right now and take that.
A week 9 McCaffrey, but you know what? I don't have a lot of Judy. Let's go with it. I want
cross positionally. I'm okay with it as well.
Yeah,
they're not filling the same spot.
I'm with you there. So we'll have pick 50, I believe or 54 is where we're up next, and then after that it is 67. So I'm just going to scroll down here, and just so everyone knows, like I'm not I marked 67 here, so Mike Evans. Doesn't mean I necessarily want Mike Evans, but it lets me know in terms of ADP where I'm up at and kind of what player range to start looking at and exploring based on what's available there. So we are going to be up in 6 picks. It is flying by already. DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, Brandon Ayuk. I definitely have interested in. I am interested in, again, week 9 buys now with Jerry Jeudy is a concern. If they're not there, do you still want to just kind of ride it out with Chris Godwin, Hollywood?
I honestly love all of this group. The 3 that you put above, and the Godwin, Hollywood, Deontay group as well. I love all of those guys. So I personally don't have too much of a preference over any one of the other. Maybe there's a point where you start looking back at running back, but you do kind of want to stick to that probably 5x8 or 6x10 rule of wide receiver and see if we can probably follow that. The only bad thing here is we will be punting quarterback. It does feel like if we stick to that.
Yeah, I mean, T-Law is still available. Watson to where are these guys coming up at? I mean, T-Law, I could probably take running back here and still have a shot at T-Law and Deshaun Watson. I don't have a lot of T-Law. Yeah, let's see what pops up here. I mean, Aaron Jones is so tempting, man. DJ Moore. All right. Oh, DJ Moore.
He's there if you want to take him. A week 13 bye, a week 14 bye with Hollywood as well. Though you're gonna get playoffs either way. So I'm pretty even on all of these wide receivers in this range. I could
Aaron
see
Jones?
leaning into Aaron Jones too. I know it doesn't follow the wide receiver hammer it rule, but I could also see the Aaron Jones route.
I just took DJ Moore. I wanted to stick with what we said in the beginning. We're going to go hero RB. We ended up taking a tight end earlier, so I wanted to make sure we at least stuck with the plan. Didn't want to reach too far with Godwin and whatever that offense is going to look like, and just hope that DJ Moore can. I don't even say exceed expectations, just be what we expect him to be.
Hey, if he can just be what he's been,
yeah,
if he can just be what he's been, that's a win in my book.
That's exactly it. So he just needs to survive that offense.
I know you and I probably won't have too much DJ Moore either, so it's probably a little bit of a good diversification team in terms of the wide receiver position.
So we have 67, 78 coming up here. It just comes down to the way that offense is run.
Exactly.
And we talk about that all the time here. So we do have 3 wide receivers. If Mike Evans is there, we have Treylon. It's like Mike Evans, Treylon, Tyler Lockett, range. I mean, if T-Law is there, I kind of think that this is where I would end up having to take T-Law.
Even if you don't have a stack, like you can stack it with a tight end and Evan Ingram. You can stack it late with Zay Jones in the wide receiver room as well.
Yep.
I like both of those, even though it's not a main level stack with like a Kirk and Ridley. I do really like a T-Law here as a mid-range quarterback.
Okay, we got to survive these next 2 picks because these next two
picks, unless another guy tries to screw us over and take 3 quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds, like that one guy did.
Please don't say that. Like, why would you even put that out there? And I'm just kidding. All right, Michael Pittman's still on the board is interesting too, but man.
Questions with that offense and its receiving game and what that passing offense is going to be. It's a rough one to bet on this year, honestly. And although I love Michael Pittman, I hope he has somewhere or someone that can elevate him in his second contract, because I just don't think it's going to be this year either. All right, got through another pick. Just do not take 2 QBs. We're here and we're good. It is not and gone. It is and here if you do want the T-Law stack.
And not he's T-Law
stack. And now he's gone for us.
All right. Fine. So just it goes down to, like we talked about earlier, the positional advantages, top 8 quarterback, top 9 quarterback, however you want to look at it, top, 3 running back, I guess probably number 1 running back projected this year, solid core of wide receivers, top 3 tight end at worst, probably with Mark Andrews, and there's upside there. So I like this build, man. I feel like so far this is it feels sturdy. We are getting into scary RB range and scary wide receiver range. So, I mean, we'll see here what comes up at
I,
78
I might
and
want one more RB, but I'm really looking to hammer home wide receiver here, at least until we get to like another 2 wide receivers on the roster.
yeah, like looking at this range here. So we're looking at, oh man, it gets gross. So
Every time. Every time.
we're up in 6 picks already. So it's like pick 77, which is this George Pickens, Gabe Davis, another week 13, QJ. Like, oh my God. I just, I just don't want any of them. Like, if I'm being totally honest with you, like none of them feel good. Like I feel like that they can have their games in best ball. Sure, maybe Pickens is the home run route.
Oh, looking back
I
at the screen, I thought you had another like 2 scrolls to go up, and I was like, "Where are the rest of the wide receivers?" No, they're not there
I
anymore.
did too. I actually scrolled. I was like, nope, we are at the top. This is the top of the list here of all position players. So I don't know. DeAndre Swift is a little interesting to me as well here.
I'd personally rather lean into Cam Akers if he's still there, to be honest, just with
For
projected workload for me.
uh,
George Pickens, as much as we're not fans and like a big play, big game
yep.
movement, we as you have 3 wide receivers already, I don't mind that as much. While I don't think he's going to be a target hog, I think Deontay's still going to lead the team. Touchdowns and big play games could be there for George Pickens. I don't doubt that at all. But he's kind of the same player as like Gabe Davis to me, just with not as high powered of an offense. So
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think I'm going to go with Pickens here. To be honest with you, even if Cam Akers is still there, it's just
like what other wide receivers are going to come back next round?
right.
That's what you're looking at, especially because we're looking through this board right now, and at the ADP, there's no wide receivers, which means everybody in this draft is reaching for them.
Oh, and he took Cam Akers on the auto pick. I was like, and he's gone. All right. So we're gonna take George Pickens here. We've both been kind of staunch anti. I don't say anti. That's not the right word. Like
It's anti Pickens.
we're anti Pickens, and it's just. I mean, it's plain and simple. It comes down to, like you said, it's the offense and what it looked like last year, and he's just not going to be a target hog. He's going to have those games. It's going to be very Mike Williams esque early on in his career, where he's going to have, a few like 5 good catches for 80 yards and a touchdown is what you want out of him. But for the most part, he's going to have 2 for 20, and you're going to be like, okay, well, that sucks. But best ball, upside play.
Does it show? Can you click on his player card and see what position rank he is in terms of wide receiver?
I cannot
Or
right
can we
now.
look at just Elijah Moore and see roughly where we are? Wide receiver 44. I mean, hell, we're getting George Pickens at wide receiver 42
That's true.
off the board.
We're doing all right.
I mean, even my projections, I hate George Pickens and I have him at wide receiver 37. I mean, hey, Value City.
Value City, baby. All right.
Didn't know the community hated George Pickens more than us.
That's wild, man. Maybe it's just this draft. We have this one in 102. Let's just get a quick marker here. Got to mark Alvin, not touching AJ Dillon. So had to mark my guy. So we're up here in a few more picks. Again, we got 4 wide receivers, which feels really good. The name that stands out right here, but
it's Dalvin Cook, man. Every time it's Dalvin Cook.
Is there any reason to not take Dalvin Cook here if he's available? Like,
because he's not on a team, but man, if he signs anywhere, you're looking around at the other running backs, and do I like Javonte Williams? But I just don't know how he's going to start. Dalvin Cook, all that it is where does he land? The only bad thing that I don't like is I don't see a lot of open options, and it doesn't sound like he's going to a lot of teams that sound very good. But it's still Dalvin freaking Cook, man. Like, I don't know if I can pass up on a team that starts off CMC and Dalvin Cook, even if he doesn't have a team right now. Wherever he goes, I think he's going to be the one. Like, what do you think the workload split is as we take Dalvin Cook, because we're going to keep talking about him here?
Yeah.
What is the workload split? Like, I saw the Patriots be one of his landing spots here today. Like, what is that split actually between Ramondre and Dalvin Cook? It's at least, I mean, 40-40.
Yeah, it would be a true RBBC. I just don't know that Dalvin Cook wants to go to that. Like
I don't think so either, but yeah,
like
just being
it's the
floated.
rumors, right? Like it's where they've talked about Miami's the other one that's already offered him a contract. And and again, I get it, but he's gonna crush someone's value, and I don't feel like he's gonna go to a situation where there's already a one. Like Ramondre is very good. He's very good. I don't see. I could see him going to Denver because of Javante's injury, and then them trying to ease him back in. ACL recoveries always take time, especially year one. So I could see something like that happening. You know, Dallas. I know Buffalo's been talked about. Like, what other teams have kind of come up lately?
Dallas, Tampa, New England, Denver. There was one other one that got floated out today. Trying to remember who that one was, but it's lose me off the top of my head. But I saw you have Evan Ingram highlighted here as a possible pick, and is that just because of the T-Law stack? Honestly, kind of forgetting that we had the Mark Andrews already from one of the early rounds. Do we want to lean back into another tight end that quickly and then just say, hey, we're done with tight end? Or do you trust that Mark Andrews and just take the bet that Mark Andrews is going to be a hit and punt tight end completely? Because I'd almost lean that route, even though we do have the potential stack with Trevor Lawrence.
So I'll answer that question here in a minute because we do have 3 picks till we're up. So it's the reason why, I guess Evan Ingram, it would be him and Andrews and Dunn. But the other part is like, what else are we going to take here? Like, I feel like we need wide receiver, and we're looking at Tyler Boyd, Juju here.
I mean, you know where Juju stands on this pod in terms of
Yeah.
underdog drafts. So we always like taking the shot on Juju.
Yeah, we don't have a week 11 bye. Honestly, that might be the play. I think we're gonna. Oh God, I'm scared. I see wide receiver. I see that color come up, and I'm like, no. All right, so we're taking Juju here. I don't think it's much of a question. Just consistency.
I think you do it. We can completely punt tight end. Just get one more in like the 18th round with the Mark Andrews. I think you play for perfect outcome scenarios. We are in here in a best ball mania draft. You play with perfect outcome scenarios, and that perfect outcome scenario is that Mark Andrews just smashes and doesn't have many weeks that you need replacement of. So
Yep.
I'm taking one flyer at the very end to replace him if he does have that bye week or maybe misses 1 week for injury. Outside of that, I don't have too much other care. I'm fine with missing out on the potential stack with Trevor Lawrence, even though it does hurt, the upside value a little bit. It's a stack, they have their value, but don't go reaching for them if you don't need them.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. Is like, honestly, if Juju wasn't there and that wouldn't have popped up, the whole thought process would have been. I know there's no tight end premium, but they do feature they do feature Evan Ingram in that offense pretty consistently. And so if he's going to be a featured part of that offense, there's a chance he can flex for us from time to time as well. If both of them pop, but it would just be those two done. Don't worry about a thing. But in the end, the smart play again goes back to how we started the build off with CMC. Needing a 5th wide receiver was definitely there, because as you can kind of see with where we're at in wide receiver, it's gross now. So good call. Glad you talked me off of that one. Glad it wasn't like last draft where I just made reactionary decisions and said, I'm going to do this anyways. So
we got more than we're building. We're learning. We got more than 2 seconds to make our pick and accidentally not getting it there.
You're not wrong. I think that's the one thing I do like about being in the middle is for doing this live and doing this on air, so to speak. It's like, all right, we have time to kind of talk picks out, but at the same time, we don't have the back-to-back pick where we have to make 2 choices in that kind of short span. So we are up in 4 picks now. It's kind of dwindling down at wide receiver here. I'm going to take quarterbacks off of this list and tight ends because we just don't really need to look at them. I mean, Njoku is there, but it's really running back and wide receiver. I guess, do you want to see dimes?
I'm looking at Zay Jones. This is a 6th wide receiver. We were talking about that stack potentially with the Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
Obviously we didn't get any of the featured stacks of that offense, but the one or the couple of weeks that Zay Jones, and I do think there will be probably 3 weeks that Zay Jones is the wide receiver 1 of this offense. You get that stack with the Trevor Lawrence. And while you don't have a premier stack, you at least do get like that third option stack, and that's definitely where I'm going in this spot.
Yep, I'm good with that. Judy's the other week 9 bye, which is fine. It's not a playoff significant one. And he he can hit the home run. So Zay Jones it is. And we now have 6 wide receivers. So just to kind of recap where we're at right now. T Law, CMC, Dalvin Cook. So we do need to get some running back depth. But we do have, 6 wide receivers with Devonta Smith, Jerry Judy, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Juju, and Zay Jones, and then a alpha tight end in Mark Andrews. So that is where we're at right now. What are your thoughts? What should come next? What do you think of the team so far?
I'm loving this build a lot, actually. The thing that scares me is like I don't really project T Law to be a top like 3 or 4 quarterback in the league. You're taking the bet that this is probably going to happen with this team. Now, I don't project that, but is it in the range of outcomes as you bring in a Calvin Ridley, as you have another year of progression, as he goes into year 3, another year with Doug Peterson offense? I think that's there. You don't have the premier stack with it, but you do at least have a mini stack with the Zay Jones tight end, like the tight end, just hammer with Mark Andrews. You have the wide receiver depth that we've tried to build. We're saying like 6 through 10, 7 through 10 wide receivers. I absolutely love where we're at. A lot of it's going to probably come down at the end. I think we were talking about this in our last video with where does Dalvin Cook land and what's the featured role for him. We kind of lean into these vet running backs maybe a little bit too much, but also like I just don't. Again, along your lines, I just don't see the outcome where he is not at least a 1A, 1B with somebody else. And he's being put with other 1B type guys in his ADP. It's just so hard for me to fade that type of an athlete who has really shown not a lot of sign of fall off just due to age. It's just that the team really didn't want to pay the contract for him. Now he's there as an open free agent market, and I'm good with wherever he lands. I think he'll be all right.
So we're up in 2 picks now. I really the only one that stands out in this range is Jamal Williams. I thought I put up quarterbacks again just to kind of see which quarterbacks were around here. We have Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, but as I said that, I mean Russell Wilson.
I'm fine on the punt.
Yeah, I thought about Russell Wilson just for the stack and the bye
Judy.
week. Yeah, for the Judy stack. I mean, it's nothing pretty. Wait, they both have the same bye week. Never mind, we're not doing that. But yeah, anyone else here stand out? We are on the clock here.
A-Chain be the only other one, that I'm an A-Chain stand, but other than that, truthfully, I'm perfectly fine with Jamal Williams and what the spike weeks he could give you, especially with a potential Kamara suspension looming.
I'm going to go home runs, man.
Dude, go the home run route.
They want to go home runs. Yeah, we're going to do that because in the end, we have CMC, we have Dalvin Cook. A-Chain is kind of a luxury pick. Obviously, again, banking on Dalvin here. I do think that getting some addition, if we're going to punt quarterback, we're just going to get, I don't know, even a Mac Jones late. Let's see where Mac's going here. Scrolling.
Ooh, disgustingly. Honestly, Underdog Best Ball, I have been Desmond Ritter stan. Like, I don't know why is he below Mac Jones. I don't understand. I guess there's a little bit of a fear that he might not start all of the games. But any game that he starts, Desmond, I mean, I obviously understand the fear, but the upside of Desmond Ritter, who is pretty much locked and loaded to be the day one starter, he has to lose the job. In any game that Desmond Ritter is starting over Mac Jones, Desmond Ritter is probably outscoring Mac Jones 90% of weeks.
That is fair. Yeah, I do get that. There's the rushing potential, but I don't know. And you're probably right. Now
I've
that
gone more and more off the Taylor Heineken train every single day. It upsets me because I love Taylor Heineken, but the St. Louis Battlehawks prodigy just isn't getting the love that I wanted to see. And Desmond Ritter's been getting all of it, and that offense is not going to be hard to run as well.
That's
as my
very
thing.
true.
Like, you just hand the ball off to Bijan, or you throw it to Drake London, or you throw it to Kyle Pitts. That's it.
We are up in 3 picks here. Don't want to take away real quick. Kindred just came off the board, 2 picks away now. So do we want to add a 7th wide receiver here with Mingo, Rashee Rice, Algiers on the board for running backs? Let's get quarterback out of here. It's like Algier, Roshan. I feel like you have to go Algier here.
No, I'm fine with an Algier, and that's probably, as we're talking about Desmond Ritter, that's probably not a very the sexy pick. It's not the pick that people want whenever everybody thinks Bijan's going to get 400 touches this year, but
Wrong.
it's probably not going to happen, and we'll take the Algier running back 2 production.
Yeah, there's a few other guys in this range here, the 150 range, which is our next pick, that I'm okay taking when it comes to wide receiver, which would be our 7th wide receiver off the board. I'm looking at KJ highlighted here. I was looking kind of Rashee Rice as well. DJ Chark stands out. I'm kind of good with any of these in this range. Anyone else kind of stand out to you for the 150 pick?
I might lean Chark just a little bit, maybe Chark or DPJ, just because of bye week. You are doubling up a 13 bye week with DJ Moore potentially right now. So maybe I'd lean one of those 2 over a KJO because I know we have a pretty good amount of KJO shares.
That's fair. Rashee Rice, any consideration? A week 10 would be the only Smitty crossover. But I don't know about
take your stab on a Kansas City wide receiver if you want, man. But
upside. I mean, I guess Chark, or at least I know Kansas City's passing. Like that's kind of where I'm.
Honestly, I'm definitely good with it. I mean, you're really not. What are you battling for? Richie James and MVS, Kadarius Toney, who can't ever stay healthy, and Sky Moore, who's growing a bunch. Feels like any time one of those coaches is saying like, "Oh, I love the progression that he's made," it's like he's made a progression from not being on the field to just being like the 4th stringer.
I think what's funny to me is like when you hear all the Sky Moore hype, it's like followed up with Deneric Prince, and I'm like, ooh, like I don't know if like I'm glad for Deneric Prince if he is doing really well. I hope the best for him in his career. But
Justin Watson is going to have a really big role this year,
right? Justin Ross highlights, and it's like, oh yeah, like he got.
Love the progression that Noah Gray's made.
Can't wait to see him on the field. Oh man. Okay, we got 163. Wheels are falling off here. 163 and then 174. We are in round 14.
What's our overall roster construction looking like right now?
So right now we have a 1-4-7-1. So we do need to get some running backs. I'd say we need a quarterback and a tight end to wrap it up. And it's kind of how I look at it. So I'm kind of looking probably running back for this next pick, unless there's a wide receiver that we just feel we can't pass on. But I mean, we're at 163. Let's just look purely running backs here.
We're probably looking 2682 in this build.
Yeah, 2682. Yep.
As we got a Trevor Lawrence, we got a Mark Andrews, so we're probably looking at 2682. I do agree with either the probably running back, maybe take a look at tight end, see what's there, as we're a little bit earlier in the board compared to that last round dart throw tight end. But really, I mean, I think we're in a really good position here where we can just kind of pick and choose between all these positions, which one we want.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of names here at tight end, even that I do enjoy.
I'd probably go back to running back as we were looking through those names.
Yeah, I'm just putting some on the board just so we kind of have them up here, just kind of keep top of mind. Just kind of scroll real quick here. Maybe a Mayer, Hunter Henry, even like we got a week 13 bye to worry about. Okay, yeah, so just kind of put a few tight ends there, but
I would take off Mostert as we already have A-Chain on the roster. Probably not the best upside build if we're taking both of them. I'd personally lean into either a Deontay Foreman or Chuba Hubbard to fill out a 5th running back on this team.
I'm going to go with Deontay Foreman right now just because he's top of the queue. Most likely won't make it through with some of these auto picks coming up. I would not mind, as we talked about off air, a little Chuba Hubbard action as well. To see, they like to give the number 2 on that offense some carries. So we'll see if that continues this year and if Chuba can stay healthy. But yeah,
Do you have any interest in Tajay, especially with the unfortunate Hassan Haskins news that he is pretty much almost locked in to be a number 2 behind? Was it McNichols is still there? Is I guess the other
yeah.
number 2.
I mean, I would have, but he came off the board and he's gone. Um,
And
so like the thing with Tajay for me is just it's that offense. If Derrick Henry's healthy, he's not going to get the ball, and I just have zero. So it's like playing on injury. And if we're playing best case scenario, that means he's not getting much work at all. So
right.
I don't know. I don't mind it. Like he's would have been what our sixth running back, fifth running back. Yeah, fifth running back. Like sure, I guess. I do think that Foreman's at least going to get carries, and that's why that felt like it's the better play, at least at this point, because we know he's going to get touches.
I like the upside shot of the Chicago running back room because I don't know who it's going to be. It literally could be Deonta Foreman being the one. So I like the upside shot there more.
So here we are coming up again in 2 picks. We could get our last wide receiver here of the bunch. We're looking at Hodgins.
It's always Hodgins, isn't it?
It seems like it is. Like we only got how many week 13s? We just have DJ Moore, so at least that week 13 crossover isn't terrible. Any other names that like yeah, it's kind of gets gross. Curtis Samuel. Yeah. And there goes Tim Patrick.
Unfortunately don't have enough time to pull up projections and give you another name other than Hodgins. I just take Hodgins.
Hodgins or Chuba Hubbard. Actually, let's just go Hodgins. I'm not gonna
just take Hodgins, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess around. This way we're done with wide receiver. We got our 8. We got our 8 wide receivers. We are done.
As I was talking about George Pickens like 10 minutes ago, that he was wide receiver 37. Isaiah Hodgins came out at wide receiver 41. So I don't think I would have given you anything better than Isaiah Hodgins in my projections.
We were talking about Pickens coming off earlier, like in the 40s range. So this might be a value. It might be a value late in round 15. So we got round 16, 17, 18. We need a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or tight end. And
I would honestly take Kyler Murray if he's there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as
there's no chance of passing that up if he's actually there. I will bet on Trevor Lawrence holding me through the first 6 or 8 weeks or whatever it is, and then having those 2 as my 2 QBs.
Yeah, he just came off the board,
and he's gone,
and he's gone. And it's
going to be the thumbnail of the show.
It probably should be. I think every underdog draft we do should have that and where we're drafting from. So glad we got that hammered out. There goes Kenny Pickett. So we do still have, I guess Chuba's still on the board here. Well, I guess we got 8 picks, so I'm not going to talk too much about what's on the board.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So we got, let's sift through here. Tyler Conklin. We still got some good tight ends here in the queue. You guys can't see the queue right now, but there's Conklin, Trey McBride, Michael Mayer, Hunter Henry, all tight ends worth grabbing. As a second tight end, I will take off Michael Mayer because he also has a week 13 bye with Mark Andrews, and that does no good. So happy to remove him.
Nope, I'd be looking at going for that conk right now. I do love me some Tyler Conklin.
I do too, man. Like I've been on the Tyler Conklin hype train since he was in Minnesota. Like the year he broke out with, like, I think the Irv Smith issue. Was it his Achilles? I was just all in on Tyler Conklin, and ever since then I've just riding that train. So if he's there, I'm gonna have a hard. I mean, Chuba. Let me see what. Let's just look at just running backs here. Yeah, there's still
always the Fournette, but I'd honestly lean off of the Fournette as we already have a Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, without a team.
You're right.
Can't do Cordero, same team. Maybe a CEH later. Malik Davis. Lat Murray, maybe.
Ugh. Oh, you want to get some of that Corey Clement?
We're not getting Corey Clement. And our underdog draft, Cody.
Sorry, the name came to me.
Yeah, I know.
Couldn't help it.
All right, we are up on the clock here. Conklin, you think we should just roll with Conk?
I'd take Conk. I'm fine with the running back room that we currently have. If Chuba doesn't swing back around, there's plenty of there's plenty of running backs still left. I know there's plenty of tight ends as well, but me personally, I think Kong is extremely undervalued.
Same.
Let's go to those projections again. I think that he ended up being like a top 12 tight end
Whew.
in the projections, and
Man.
yeah, I really like some Conklin.
So let's see here. So we got running back.
Actually, tight end 12 exactly.
Love it. Love it. Chuba just came off the board. I mean, he made it a few extra rounds. Was not expecting him to make it to us now. So we have Bryce Young, Sam Howell, Mac Jones. I mean, again, I know a lot of people will talk about stacking, whether it's stacking your team or game stacking as well when you're looking at the championship game. Haven't really focused on that this draft as much as we had in others, which is in a way fine for me. I feel like we've built a pretty I think a pretty damn good team, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. So, looking at just quarterback here,
In week 17 is the Jacksonville Jaguars and Indianapolis Colts. So that was gone for us, at least at the quarterback position, to stack that one.
yep. So, any other quarterback besides? I mean, I guess I can take off Mac Jones, Sam Howell. He has a week 14 bye, but again, this is a backup quarterback. Like what?
I absolutely hate to say it, but I'd be Desmond Ritter as a quarterback.
Ugh, I hate that you said it too, but you know what? That's fine.
Not my draft, your draft. That's just me personally.
I'm good with
I
it.
hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like
The only reason I was
still,
thinking Mac was because of the stack, but at the same time, like in the end, like
I mean, you've got like a mini stack with Algier, even though he's probably not going to be a pass catcher at all.
mini stack with Algier. I can't believe you just said that.
I mean,
Clip that and put it as a YouTube
on the
short.
same team.
All right, Mac just went off the board, made this choice even easier. So, do we take Ritter here? Yeah, I think we have to. Oh, it was Marvin Jones, not Mac
Marvin Jones, not Mac Jones. It's a different color.
Off the rails. All right,
Different
I'm taking Desmond
colors.
Ritter just
Go
because. It's been a night. All right, so we have our 2. We got 5, so we have one more running back to take, 8 and 2, and we will wrap this puppy up. I guess it's not a puppy. Technically, it's Best Ball Mania 4. And so,
It's
yeah.
kind of like a big puppy.
Yeah, it's the big puppy. It's the big dog.
Not Mastiff level, though.
Not Mastiff level. We can't do that one live. Maybe we'll do a recap if I do end up doing one. I mean,
Bigger than a Pomeranian, though.
it's much bigger than a Pomeranian. If you haven't figured it out, we're just listing off different Underdog drafts here. And if you haven't heard, Destination Devy has partnered with Underdog for this upcoming season. So if you do use code TFDR at sign up, you will get up to a $100 deposit match on your first deposit. And if you do deposit $10 or more, you will get 1 year access to the Destination Devy Discord. So again, code TFDR at sign up to a $100 deposit match on your first deposit. $10 or more gets you that 1 year access to Destination Devy. Hands down the best place to be in fantasy for your Underdog, for your dynasty startups or dynasty as well. So tap in patreon.com/all gas. If you prefer to do it that way, you'll find us in Heisman tier. You'll have access to all the content creators. The best place in fantasy. That's it. Best place in fantasy. So,
And as we get to this pick first, do you want to say that I would have Malik Davis be my pick here?
I think so too. I was looking at him like I had looked at Zamir, Kareem Hunt, same issue. I kind of think if there's a shot, Malik Davis is truly a 1B or even just the Zeke role. I'm good with that.
What'll happen is Dalvin Cook will sign in Dallas, and then there'll be the 1B, 1C behind Pollard somehow. But no, regardless of that happening, no, I with what we know right now, Malik Davis is the pick.
Yep. And we're going to take him. I saw Zamir White get taken, and I was like, and he's gone. So I was really worried that they were going to take Malik from us. I really like this team, man. Like this is probably one of my more favorite teams, and the fact that this came out of a middle draft. Like we've been favoring the bookends essentially, just because of the flexibility it allows you. But this is a pretty solid team. We have T-Law and Desmond Ritter at the quarterback position. We have CMC, Dalvin Cook, Devon Achane, Tyler Algier, Donta Foreman, and Malik Davis. We got 6 running backs. Right now, no running back by crossover until we figure out what's going on with Dalvin.
It's questionable at running back. I will say that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do feel like we can get two to crack. Like if Dalvin Cook, just goes to a situation where he is the one in that whatever offense it is, or if he's getting 220 plus touches, like I'm good. I don't care where he goes. I think he'll be cracking the lineup. But yeah, we might have a little bit of issue with as far as upside at that position. Wide receiver, we do have, Devonta Smith, Jerry Judy, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Juju, Zay Jones, Rashee Rice, and Isaiah Hodgins. We got 8 wide receivers, and this is probably I would say the best, but it's probably one of my
It doesn't
favorites.
have a round one wide receiver. That's the only thing
Yeah,
that doesn't make it the best wide receiver room that
yep,
I've drafted.
agreed. And I feel like it goes back to like you said, if round one, the draft is over, so we're just going to go back to pick one. Like what if we would have taken Diggs there? It would have allowed us some flexibility to go after running back later, and having maybe Diggs and then replace Judy, and maybe put a running back in that round instead. Again, we would be punting running backs, so it probably wouldn't feel as great. But I don't know, man. In the
I
end,
like the team though, because I think that gave us the flexibility to take Andrews there in the third.
yeah, I think we have studs at each position. There's no true number one wide receiver, but I think we have enough wide receivers that will get wide receiver 1 weeks out of this bunch.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw the poll today. Who do you think is going to get more targets this year? Is it Devonta Smith or AJ Brown?
Man, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Like I love Smitty. It's
I'm
gonna be
AJ
really
Brown
interesting.
fully still, but
He's
I
very
do
good.
think
Yeah,
the scenario exists for Smitty.
yeah, no doubt about it. I think that's kind of the thing is like you got 2 number ones there. It's a 1A 1B situation. I think that duo is more of a 1A 1B than what you see with Jamar Chase and T Higgins, in my opinion. Obviously, Jamar Chase I think is the better one, but I think Smitty's the better 2. I think he's a much better player than T Higgins, and I'll take heat on that if I need to. So,
Not to take away from T, he's
yeah,
fantastic too. He'd be a one on
very
most
good.
teams in the league.
Absolutely agree, but I do think Devonta Smith's better. So, just gonna ride that out. But yeah, we got Mark Andrews, Tyler Conklin at the tight end position. Again, another number one, top 3 at the position player there. I do like this team.
I
I
like it,
do like
man.
this team a
The
lot.
only thing is like need T Law to actually step up and be probably a top 5 quarterback for this to really work. Need
Yep.
Desmond Ritter to play all 17 games and need a little bit of running back help for this to really flush out and give us like 3 weekly starters. But if we can do that, this team is rocking and rolling, man. I absolutely love this one.
Yeah, I think 8. Like we can get some floor plays potentially with Algier, Foreman, and Malik if Malik's playing. Like they can do something for you. Home run with A Chain, and then obviously Dalvin and CMC if Dalvin does sign. I guess it is a mystery, but I think you could see Dalvin skyrocketing in value if he if he signs with a team of significance.
Honestly, is almost guaranteed as soon as he signs, unless it's to like the Jets level position where he's behind Brees Hall.
Right. I think the
Unless
Patriots would be
unless
that situation.
unless it's to the Colts, behind Jonathan Taylor. He's not going he's not going down in value from
No,
from where he's at right now.
no. I think this is the bottom of the barrel because he has no team. But once we know exactly what's going on, that situation will get solidified. So, any last things you want to touch on with this draft here?
No, left the team 2682 build. It's probably my most preferred way to build out teams. If you do get a little bit of an early quarterback, early tight end, we
Yep.
got the 5, 6 wide receivers through I think round 10, and so not exactly the 7 or 8 that I think that are suggested by 10 or 12, but I think we got there with the wide receivers. We took a little bit of a diversified approach against all the positions, and like how this team shaped up, man. I think this could be one of those teams that may not be a number one overall winner, but I do think this is a team that could easily move on and try to advance into the playoffs.
Yep. I feel the same way. I think it could advance, and that's what I'm looking for. Let's make some money back. But
Let's go.
so that's pretty much it. Yeah, make sure you do like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what your thoughts are, what your best ball strategies are. Again, make sure you check out down below. Use code TFDR at sign up for that deposit match. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us here in the Fantasy Draft Room.